Russia has been accused of providing the Houthis with elements necessary to target ships in Red Sea. Crazy, yeah? What's up, everybody? Hope you're doing good. So is Russia giving the Houthis tracking data to target ships in the Red Sea? Interesting. First of all, thank you very much for stopping by. My name is Zack. I don't know who you are, but if you watch this video till the end, we probably gonna like each other. Okay? So here we talk about most of the things, but we have our perspective. We don't listen to the West. We don't listen to the East. We have our own perspective. We can look with our own eyes and pull our own judgment. That's what it is. If you're about that life, then welcome on board. You can click on the button, I think it's called subscribe, and we can continue together. Right. Now, they're accusing Russia of providing the Houthis with tracking data to target ships in the Red Sea. Who are the Houthis? Here. These are the Houthis. These are very, very vicious people, depending on where you are. The Europe will say they are vicious people that do bad things. They believe they're fighting for the right cause. They're right here in Yemen. This is Yemen right here. It's right next to Ethiopia, as you can see. This path is very, very necessary for the world shipping system. Okay, you see up there, the Suez Canal? That is where things pass. All your containers, all your shippings, or things you order from China, all your Nintendo, your Sega, your PlayStation, your Samsung, and your Sony's, they come from China. They're made in China, right? So they have to pass here through the boat. You see, back in time, this space here used to be closed. Okay, this canal of Suez used to be closed. And people had to use ships to go all across Africa, down to Southern Africa, to go all across to Asia in order to do business. If you ask for something from China or from Japan, it has to come all the way down, and that makes it longer as a trip and also more expensive because the ships use fuel, and so more fuel means more expensive stuff. Now, many years ago, they decided to break here at the corner, you see, between the Mediterranean Sea and this part here, to break it so they can allow ships to come from Europe and pass through this side very easily and go to Asia. So what's the benefit? The benefit is reduce number of days on the sea, reduce kilometers, reduce expenditure of fuel used by ships, and also reduce price of the goods. Meaning if it costs less to pass here, to bring stuff, it costs less for the consumer. Now, who are the Houthis? Like I said earlier, they are vicious for the West, but not so vicious for themselves. The Houthis are fighting against Israel because they feel like Israel is a bully. Number one, Israel went to Gaza and they completely did what they did, looking for Hamas. Yes, the reason was legitimate. Hamas went to Israel earlier and went and took people, unalived 1,100 and something people, and took 200 people as hostage. So Israel went to Gaza and completely destroyed the place. Now, Houthis felt that was a disproportionate response from Israel. Therefore, because Israel is supported by the United States and the entirety of the West, the Houthis decided to target every ship that linked to Israel. Meaning, every ship that passes here that has any connection with Israel will be attacked. Then when America was supporting Israel, they decided every ship that's linked to America and Israel will be attacked. Now, have they been effective? Well, they've been very effective because they've disrupted many things. They've done over 100 attacks. They've brought to their coast just 2 ships. Now, that to you would sound like a failure. Well, they've done something very interesting here. They have rendered this whole area very dangerous. And as you can imagine, by rendering this area very difficult, ships are being very scared to traverse this area of the sea. They don't want to go past this place because it's very dangerous. Now, the Houthis are very organized. They can use airplanes, they can use helicopters, they can use speedboats to attack ships, and they're taking over. They're coming like commandos, not like rebels, like commandos. Let me remind you here, the Houthis are de facto controlling Yemen. They are the government and the court in Yemen. So they're taking over every ship that passes through the coast. And what do they do that for? Because that's how they apply pressure on the entire world, hoping that Israel stops doing what it's doing in Gaza and Lebanon. Now, what has been the result of the attacks from the Houthis? The attacks from the Houthis have made things very expensive. Let me give you an example here. If you look at the freight of the container back in October 2023, it was $1,300 per container. In January 2024, it became $4,000 because at that time, the Houthis started attacking ships already. Now, in July 2024, it became 5,900. As you can see, that is a tremendous jump. And now containers with ships are deciding to go the other route. They're trying to avoid this route. And by going the different route, going past South Africa and all the way up, the route becomes more elongated. So it takes more time to deliver stuff and burns more fuel with every ship. And when you burn more fuel, it's more expensive for the companies. And more expenses mean the consumer also pays more. That is how the Houthis are applying pressure to the rest of the world. So they may be not winning wars physically and fighting, but they are winning wars in terms of economics. Because now, America has reacted numerous times to dissuade them, but it has not really worked. Okay, so a few days ago, America sent the B-2 bomber to Yemen to go and destroy one of the sites of the Houthis. Because the Houthis know that their site could have been destroyed, they began building sites underground like Iran will do, keeping their weapons and all the drones and stuff. Now, apparently America, through the intelligence, knew exactly where these different sites were. And they used the B-2 bomber, one of the biggest, if not the best bomber America has, to go and destroy the Houthi site. The American defense chief said this was a clear message to show the capability of America to target and destroy any target they deem necessary anywhere in the world. So, as we said earlier, using the B-2 was not for the Houthis. Using the B-2 in Yemen was a message being sent to Iran that in case you react in a way that we don't like, we can do the very same to you, if not worse. Now, Russia has been accused of providing the Houthis with intelligence and satellite data in order for them to target ships. Because the Houthis can shoot, to the ship, or they can target the ship, knowing exactly where it is through satellites. For them to be able to do that, they need some very interesting data from the satellites. And as far as everybody knows, the Houthis do not own the satellites to have that stuff. But now, this accusation from the West to Russia, the question remains, are these proven accusations, or it's just one of those things because we know the West doesn't necessarily like Russia right now? So they would accuse Russia of anything. But also, let me remind you here that Russia made a promise to send weapons to the enemy of the West if the West continues, or West dares to send weapons to Ukraine. And we're talking about long-range missiles. The United States of America has been worried that Russia would further exacerbate the situation by providing the Houthis with these anti-ship and anti-air missiles, as well as other weapons. If the Houthis get that, that's going to be very, very dangerous. Let me remind you here that the Houthis shot into Israel a few weeks ago with very fast missile. They didn't hit no target, but it went through. That's very dangerous. Now imagine if Russia had to provide them with all those weapons. And that is perhaps one of the reasons politically and geopolitically, Israel never messes with Russia, because Russia could provide its enemies, who are Iran as well as the Houthis and Hezbollah, the weapons they need to completely destroy Israel. So they're playing very cautiously there. However, like they say, there is no evidence of such transaction. This is all speculation. But, clearly for them to know exactly where a ship is, somebody must have been or must have right now be giving them information in order to execute. Let me know how you feel about this. Do you think the Houthis are doing the right thing by trying to protect or fight for Gaza? Or do you think they're just terrorists like any other organization that's really terrorist? It's always a great pleasure to hear from you. Okay, again, fellas, YouTube say most of you guys watch videos, but you're not subscribed. Like, what's the matter, man? What's wrong with you? Why don't you subscribe? These guys need that bread, fellas. Just subscribe, man. Do it. Come on, man. Do you want me to beg you or something? I ain't gonna beg you, but you want to subscribe, so you can you can help some brothers, make the trend go. You know what I mean? Come on, man. All right. God bless.